Yes, team. So, as promised, three-part series on our handstand push-ups, specifically starting today on getting you into that first handstand. Because we all know that when we first do this, it's scary as fuck, really daunting. We need to make sure that we try and simplify this process. Now, first things first with this. It is a irrational fear, right? It's not something where we're actually going to really hurt ourselves. You'll hear the odd person say, "Oh, I cranked my neck when I fell from a handstand." But let's be real. For most of us, if we try and get into a handstand, our arms aren't just going to disappear, right? Your arms aren't just going to give way. Most of you lift some heavy fucking tin over your heads. You're going to be in a position where you're going to be able to do a handstand. And I always put my neck on the line by saying this, but if you can do a handstand and hold yourself, you can do a handstand push-up. Most of the work's done by a kip, right? So it's, again, with gymnastics, it's all about timing. Yes, we need an element of strength as always, and we still always work on our strength stuff. We always know this. But a lot of it will be done from our kip, making ourselves float and getting the timing of pushing out. But again, we'll focus on that tomorrow. For today, focusing solely on getting you upside down for the first time. Now, in my 7 years as a CrossFit coach, I've had to help many people get over this fear. See it a lot, so I understand it. It's not something that I'm looking at going, why the fuck are people really scared to go upside down? It's a weird thing to do, right? We don't do it that often. Some of us not even tried it since like primary school and shit. So, yeah, first things first is spending time upside down without getting into the wall if needed. For a lot of us, we won't need to. We can basically just start jumping into trying to get into a handstand. But for some of us, if we want to grow confidence and get comfortable being upside down, there are easier variations that we can do. The main fear that people will have is the whole actual kick up to the wall, not the actual handstand hold, if that makes sense. So there's two drills that you can do. First one is a pike hold off a box. And again, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a separate video where it's going to have these two movements on there. So I'm just going to quickly show you what a pike hold off the box look like. I know you'll all go, I know what a pike hold is, but what we're actually looking for just in terms of the shape, making sure that it's a proper L shape. That obviously is a little bit easier because it takes away the legs being over your head. So it's holding the L shape. The second one is a wall facing handstand push-up. This will still, wall facing handstand, which will require us to have to wall walk up the wall and get into a position that we're comfortable in. It might not be all the way into the wall because, again, you might not have RX wall walks, but it's getting into a position where you're still upside down, hands are in the position they need to be, head is through, and we're still holding that handstand. So they're the two drills that I'm going to cover just in a quick video after this. So you'll get two separate videos. The other thing is, I talk about this quite a lot. If you can get someone to spot you, like I spoke about with the bar muscle the other day, on a handstand, it's far easier to do and far less daunting. So if you've got a coach in the gym who's willing to help you, if you've got clients, members, friends, anything like that who are going to be willing to help, I'm going to also do a video with one of the girls in here just showing you what we're looking for when it comes to spotting for a handstand hold. Okay, but again, they'll generally know what that is. A coach would anyway, let's hope. So what I'm going to run through as an actual thing today is going to be the actual kick up. Okay, so the reason that's so daunting is because they don't want to have to walk into it and kick up. So what I always get people to start off with is what I like to call the sprinter position. And you see them get into that position, right? Where they've got the hands out in front and one foot's forward, one foot's back. We're going to do the same thing. Another extra side note is rather than trying to go into it with nothing underneath you and you're thinking, fuck me, if I fall on my head, I'm going to really hurt myself. Just stack some mats up. As long as obviously it's not at a point where you're going to get on it and then your head's going to be stuck on the mat. That's an issue. But have some mats there just for a little comfort blanket more than anything else. Yeah? So we're going to do the sprinter position. So what I always recommend is your strongest foot will be at the back. So I'm going to place my hands down first. Now, another quick little tip that I'll go through properly as well tomorrow is make sure your hands are turned out so your thumbs are facing the wall, not hands facing the wall, okay? It's just a far better position for your wrists to be in, and it's a lot easier to press out of, okay? So thumbs facing the wall. Put your hands at the start of the mat. Put your strongest foot at the back into this position here. Now, at first, when you do a few kick-ups, it's probably going to be a case of you're going to do this a few times, right? And that's fine, because again, it's that daunting feeling of sending your body weight over. But the sooner you can get over the thought of if you go over, you're going to hurt yourself, the better. The more you can practice this sprinter position and you're thinking about really kicking off and driving off with that back foot, the closer you are going to get. So you're going to get to a point where you start to do this a little bit more. You're like, oh, feel a little bit of a float. Then hopefully, by the end, we can kick up enough where we can come up, I can bring my head through, squeeze my ass, and hold this position. Okay? That is what we're looking for. So don't try and just do the standard thing that you see a lot of people do, where they walk in and go into a handstand, because that is scary. Start with a sprinter position, work through that. If needed, get a spotter, which I'm going to show you in a separate video in a minute, and you should be good to go.